Hello everybody, good afternoon. Welcome to Lunch Break Live on Jane Unchained. My name's Tracy Childs. I'm with Veg-Appeal and I've been a contributor here on Jane Velez-Mitchell's news network for a little while, and I love to share recipes with everyone. This is what I do in life, is just test recipes, come up with the best way to make them. I'm all about whole foods, I'm all about sugar-free, salt-free, oil-free, but still delicious. That's the key. Let's just make sure that it still tastes good, because, you know, if it didn't taste good, none of us would eat this way. So I want to show you a couple things that I've been kind of obsessed with lately. Just really trying to come up with good ideas for people for products or for things that you might not be able to just buy at the store the way you want them to be. At least this is what I found. I found that I couldn't find a granola that I really liked. Most of them had, like, they were too high in sugar, they had oil, they had coconut oil, which is saturated fat, and I just didn't want that extra fat and I didn't want that oil in my food. So granola is something that we eat every day, and I've learned to make some really delicious breakfast with it and stuff, so I wanted to show you that recipe. And another one I wanted to show, and I've just toyed with and been investigating lately, is yogurt. Now, a lot of people, when they become vegan, they really miss having yogurt, right? They love that comforting feel, and they love an instant food that's really fast, high in protein, and high in nutrition and calcium and things like that. So they're looking for something like that. So problem is that it may not be on the market, or it's really expensive. So I wanted to show you some things I've investigated to make a really good yogurt too, and then we'll create something really delicious with those two things. And so something that's really versatile. You can have it for lunch, breakfast, dessert, snacks. So I want to start out with making our granola. So this is a combination of a couple people's ideas that I have found, and just combined recipes and found something that I really loved. So here it is. I call it Crunchy Kasha Granola. And what is kasha? You guys know what that is? So it is actually a type of buckwheat. Well, it is a process that's done to buckwheat, actually. So this is buckwheat in its natural form. And let me tell you, I'm obsessed with buckwheat. It's amazing. It's delicious food. It's gluten-free. It's not related to wheat. A lot of people think it is because it's has the word wheat. And so this is the raw form of the buckwheat that you can usually buy in your bulk bins at like Whole Foods around here in San Diego. I live in San Diego, and we have Jimbo's, and they have buckwheat there. And then you can also look for it in the packages too. So here's some buckwheat I found at Specialty Produce. They now have that here in San Diego. So you might find it from Bob's Red Mill. He's a great brand of buckwheat. So buckwheat is, you know, really it's a lot like, you know, quinoa has been popularized lately, but buckwheat's been around for longer. And as far as, you know, I guess in Western culture it's been around. It's definitely popular in Europe, it's definitely popular in Asian populations, but here in the US, we haven't even used it that much. And I think it's kind of undervalued, and you know, it needs some attention because its really nutrition profile is very similar to quinoa. It's higher in protein than most grains. It's low glycemic level for people who have blood sugar problems. It's great for heart health. It's definitely a whole food that's full of protein and calcium and all that good stuff. So another thing about buckwheat is you might have heard of kasha. So this is kasha, and the reason I call my granola kasha is because we are going to be roasting the buckwheat while we cook the granola. So we start with the raw, and then we'll start with our traditional or we'll use our traditional oats that go into a lot of granolas. So the twist with this one is it's going to have oats plus the kasha as the base. So these two ingredients. Just toss those in your bowl. And what else does granola usually have in it? Nuts and seeds. So we'll put some You can put whatever you want, but I use about a cup and a half of, these are pecans, and I'm using some pumpkin seeds. So you can put those in. But you can put whatever you like in there. I like all different things. I love almonds, I love cashews, I love all different types of seeds. So, but we're also gonna add some other seeds to it. This is really for nutrition and also to add some chunkiness to our granola, make it a really nice chunky consistency. So this is ground flax, so I'll put that in. And this is chia seeds, whole chia seeds, all right? So flax is usually available in bulk bins, and you just grind it up yourself. I actually prefer to do that rather than buying it already ground. You guys know why? Anybody let us know why you think it's better if you actually grind your flax seeds, go to that little bit of effort to grind them in your NutriBullet or your Vitamix or whatever. Anybody out there? And then chia seeds, you buy them like this. And chia seeds are very small and you can use them whole. You can also grind them up. They're available at lots of different stores. So the only thing you might have trouble getting is that buckwheat. I don't think it's available at Sprouts or Trader Joe's, but the rest of everything else is, and you might even special order it if you're somewhere where they don't carry it, because it's just very worth it. It's so crunchy and it's really delicious in this recipe. So, all right, so now we're gonna make our sauce. So this is ready to go. You can also put coconut in it. And let's see here, where's our little tool here? I love this Vitamix tool. So I'm going to show you how handy this is. So, all right, so dates. So we don't use sugar, but we're going to want to sweeten it. Granola, of course, is a sweet type of a dish. So instead of sugar, we'll add a bunch of dates. This is about a cup of dates. And so we're making a lot of granola actually in this. So a little bit, all this is gonna go a long way, and this is probably gonna feed your family for like a couple weeks if they're eating granola every day, all right? So now for another moisture, another sweetener, you can add some of this type of stuff, which is a superfruit fruit spreads, all sugar-free. Or you can add some applesauce. I like to use these two because these are convenient. Each of these is a half a cup. So we're using like a half a cup of this. This, of course, is berry jelly. It's going to add a really nice berry flavor. So you can use that if you'd like. And, of course, some cinnamon. Can't have granola without cinnamon, right? And some vanilla. So you can use vanilla powder or vanilla if you have vanilla powder, that's great. And some soy milk, so just to add some moisture. Now, instead of oil in here, we're gonna add some almond butter. So almond butter is going to replace the fat. It's gonna make our granola crunchy and also hold it all together. And it also is gonna add some calcium and some protein and just make it a really great breakfast food, very filling. So everything's going to be blended in there. The reason why we're blending is because of the dates, right? Dates need to be broken down to create our sauce. Okay, so that's everything that goes in here. So we just process that up. So you notice I'm a chef. I spent a lot of time in the kitchen, so it's important to, to entertain yourself, get a little exercise, do some stretching while those things are happening. I also work at the Eat to Live retreat, which is in the Rancho Santa Fe area near here. So yeah, I'm on my feet a lot, so it's just good to have some fun while you're in the kitchen. So look at this. This is a kind of a nice berry color because of the berry jelly. You could add some just berries in there too. It's not going to be as sweet, but it's tasty. So now you've got your sauce. So you may notice that I haven't added any fruit yet, dried fruit, like raisins. I love raisins, cherries, all those kinds of things. Or currants would be great too, in your granola, but you don't want to bake them. They're gonna get dry. You're gonna get like, have you ever noticed that sometimes in those things you buy at the store that the dried fruit is like a rock? No, we don't want a rock. We want a nice tender raisin, so we'll add those later. Okay. Okay, so now we have our sauce, and you can just start mixing that up. Now, if it's too thick, you can always add a little more of your milk, your soy milk or something like that. And depending on what you want, I like it really chunky, so it can be a snack too, like, you know, travel snack. Great for kids, great for sports, all that great stuff. Okay, so look at all that goodness in here. Isn't that awesome? So now, continuing with our theme of oil-free, we're going to use some parchment paper. And we're just going to go ahead and divide it up kind of equally, like that. And place it on your boards or on your sheets. Here's where you can just get your fingers a little dirty. Don't worry about it. It's all good. So this is where you spread it out and create those chunks. All right. So if this is a little chunky for you, then you can add less sauce to it. You know, make less sauce. But I like it chunky like this. And you can always break up those chunks later if you want something more cereal-like. Do this one. So you could get away with doing one tray, but it's going to bake faster this way. So you're going to set your oven at 325. So a lot of things are at 350, but you don't want to. We're trying not to burn and do it too high a heat, and so this is where you actually got to watch your granola. You don't want to burn it, so. Let's just spread it out there. All right, so there's more on the spoon. Don't want to miss any of it. It's so delicious. So a good high quality granola can cost like $6.50 or more per package, and this is definitely going to save you lots of money just by making your own, and you're going to get like addicted like me. I think you're going to really like having your own granola and having control over what you put into it. All right, so you just put it here, and you get to change up flavors whenever you want. You make it different ways. All right, so that's in the oven for just about 15 minutes, and then you'll go ahead and take it out. and stir it because you want to get even baking on that, and then you can put it back in for about 10 more minutes. And then after that, this is really important, you turn off, you let some of the hot air out of the oven, and kind of to reduce the temperature in there, and then just go ahead and shut the oven door and leave it in there to get crunchier. That's the way you can get a really nice crunchy consistency on your granola, is to just kind of let it cool in the oven, or cool it before you put it in. So.
When do you add the raisins?
So the raisins are after it's completely cool. So then it's still on your tray, and then you can put in the raisins and stuff like that. And actually what I'm going to do is put in some cherries and some raisins. So I'm going to get the cherries ready. So you can see the cherries are really big. So these are a nice size, right? A bite, you know, that's going to be evenly distributed. But these are really big. Let me set our timer here. So these cherries are pretty big, so I like to chop them up. So if you want to use cherries, you might want to like give them a chop, or just add tons of them. You want to just make sure you get some cherries if you like cherries. You want to make sure you get cherries in most of your bites. So anyways, it doesn't take much to just kind of quickly move your knife through and cut these up. You can also do that with raisins, especially if something calls for currants and you can't get currants, or you don't have them, whatever. You know, currants are basically, you know, they have their own individual flavor, but they do add sweetness and they're smaller. So sometimes I'll chop up raisins and add those. So, okay. So now I wanted to show you the Instant Pot and how to make yogurt in that. So come over here and look at this, or here, I'll just turn it around. This is so cute. This is what you get to wake up to if you make your own yogurt. See, isn't that cute? It says yogurt. I don't know. You gotta have fun with it, right? So like I said earlier, I really haven't been able to find yogurts on the market that I like, that don't have a lot of sugar, don't have a lot of extra ingredients. I just haven't liked the nutrition profile, and so I just haven't bought them, you know. So I wanted to learn how to make my own, and so I've really been working on that for a while. And then I was excited after I got the Instant Pot to find out that it has a yogurt function. So it actually has this little yogurt button right there. See that? So now, this was from earlier today. I made some yogurt, so I'll just go ahead and shut it off. Shut off the machine. Let's see, I'll get my other blender. All right, so I've just thought about or looked into different ways to start your yogurt, right? You know that you need, it's a probiotic and it's got friendly bacteria. And so you need to introduce that to your whatever medium you're going to use, whatever type of milk you're going to use. Of course, a lot of people use almond milk, they use coconut milk. A lot of the companies have switched to coconut milk over soy milk, and I'm not sure why, because nutritionally, I mean, I'll grant you coconut is nice and rich and it's delicious, but I don't want to eat coconut milk every day. I don't want to eat a lot of saturated fat. There's no hardly any protein in it. It really just nutritionally not a great choice. It's a good treat, but I wanted something that I felt good about eating that was going to add to, you know, our nutrition, our family. So I started looking into soy yogurt. I started making it. Now I have a dehydrator. You can also make it in there, but this is super convenient to make it in the Instant Pot. It's right here in the kitchen, and it's really cute too. So, all right, so to make so you gotta mix your, whatever you're using for the probiotic or to introduce the friendly bacteria with your milk. So what I do actually is, just gonna pour it in here. So this is just your regular soy milk from Trader Joe's. and that's about it's the cheapest one that you can get that's just only got soybeans, organic soybeans added to it and water, and that's it. So it's unsweetened, it's vegan, dairy-free, lactose-free, it's got protein in it, so it's a great breakfast. All right, so there's different options. You can buy something from, this is called Bella yogurt starter, non-dairy. You always want to look for a non-dairy yogurt starter. I kind of prefer using this because it's available at like Whole Foods, Jimbo's, and this you might have to order off Amazon or something, which I'm not a big fan of doing that all the time, so I really like to just buy my products. You can also use a yogurt that you bought at the store, a really nice clean one. Now that already has those properties. You can add like the whole container here, or maybe half a container. I've tried that too, and that works great, but it kind of defeats my purpose of like I want to buy yogurt to make yogurt. I want to have this on hand. So anyways, I found this is the best. So for this whole thing of like 4 cups, which is a quart, I'll add a teaspoon of this. So just go ahead and add about a teaspoon in here. And so yogurt is, you know, some people have a little trouble with our digestion. This can add some friendly bacteria if you've ever been on antibiotics. You know, and just people really like it. It's comforting. It's good. Feels good in your stomach. Frankly, I've not been a huge yogurt fan, just because I don't really like the commercial ones, but I really like this one. I like how it is. I also like that it tastes good without actually adding much sweet to it. So what I do is I just kind of mix it real quick, like that. So that's it. You can do that with any starter. You could, just an easy way. You got to get something dirty to mix it up, so it might as well just be your blender. And then you can just blend it up. All right, and then you can just put it in some open containers in your pot. I want to add it to these containers, then I don't get my pot dirty, and it's ready to go in the fridge. So you can just pour it in here. I also like the little 1 cup ones. Those are convenient. It kind of foamed up a little bit, so you just kind of keep adding it in there. There we go. All right, so you leave it open, and then you can just put the top on. Okay, and now it's not going to come to pressure or do any of that, so you could open it at any time, but I recommend that you don't open it because it's coming up to the exact right temperature to make your yogurt. So what you do is you just hit the yogurt button, and then you put it 9 or 10 hours. You know, overnight when I start it, you know, before I go watch TV or before bed or something like that, it's going to be 10 hours anyway, so I'll just do 10 hours, but I think 9 hours is probably enough if you're looking to do it during the day or while you're at work or whatever. And then it just starts, and you just leave it alone, and then you get yogurt. So, but if you want it to be like a Greek yogurt, you're going to need to, at least what I found is it's a little bit watery for that, so I'll show you the difference here. And I'll also let you know a little bit about what I have done. So this is what came out of the yogurt, out of the Instant Pot today. So I did 4 little containers like this, and it's a pretty good consistency, but it's not super thick. So if you want to get like a Greek yogurt consistency, then I do this little setup here where I have a sieve, and then I have something underneath, and look at all that liquid that came out. and then you end up with their thick yogurt. So this is a coffee filter, actually. So this is a coffee filter. So let me show you. I just did some here. And look at the consistency of this. So this is this is the same stuff, only I just let it sit. I sit in the refrigerator like this. So I do it kind of one by one, because the coffee filters aren't big enough to do, you know, more than like about a cup or so. And you know what, it's fine like this too for certain uses, but if you want a really nice thick Greek yogurt, something that, you know, is not really available at the store as far as I know, at least not a soy one, then you can, you know, you can do this little number here. And let's see here. Let me see, how are you? So this is my second one, all right? And you can see that it's gotten a lot thicker, all right? And you can kind of push the stuff through. But you end up with about half of the amount of yogurt this way. So, and so you gotta be mindful also, that's double the calories, right? Because this has no calories. This is just water. I don't know what it is, probiotic water. Maybe good for you to drink it. I'm not sure, probably is. So there you go. So here's some nice, actually I'm gonna go ahead and we'll use this in our dish. So I'll show you guys how to put this in here. No, not rocket science, but kind of tricky. So you just kind of lift it up like this, hold it together, and then put it, oh, it's a little drippier than the other. And you just hold it in here. Yeah, oof, quite a bit drippier. Yeah, this was my second one. I did the other one for a little longer. I'd say maybe about, you know, try to go for a couple hours on each one. And it just depends, you know, but it depends on what kind of consistency you like. You could also really let it go and it becomes more like a spread, which is cool. What I like about this too is it's not super tart. I think the longer you let it go or let it ferment, the tartar it's gonna be. But then you end up having to put sweeteners and stuff to make it palatable. But it's not sweet, so it could be used in savory dishes for sure. But yeah, so you can see that 2 containers became about 1 there. Wipe up our mess here. Alright, so now the fun part, you get to create. I also want to show you a quick syrup if you want to make a sweeter dish. If you want to sweeten it, you can just make a date paste. So this is dates with water soaked. And you just put it, let me rinse this out real quick. Just put it in your blender. These are pitted, of course. And blend it up. So now this can be like a little sweet to sweeten it up a little bit. You can add vanilla to it, or you can add vanilla when you sweeten up your yogurt. Another option is to add some of that, some of this juice sweetened berries to it, or you know, some jelly to make a sugar-free yogurt if you're used to having fruity yogurts and things like that. So let's see, this is our nice thick one. So let's go ahead and make our breakfast or dessert. Actually, it's more of a dessert parfait. So we've got our thicker yogurt, right? So we'll add a little bit to the bottom. Okay, here's our finished granola. So this is nice and crunchy. You can see it's nice. It's really a great consistency, and it lasts a long time. So add some of those chunks. Break them up a little bit if you want. I'm just leaving it unsweetened because I like it that way. And we'll put in some bananas. Some blueberries. So these are frozen. If you don't have fresh on hand, you can just take some frozen ones and let them thaw. So add some fruit. Then you can add more of your yogurt. It's time to stir our granola. All right, so here's the granola, and let's get both of them out here. Bunch it on over. Check it out. So this is after it's been baked for about 15 minutes. So it starts to get brown on the bottom, so you just want to turn it over. And you can feel it's not soft. I mean, it's not crunchy yet. It's still soft. So you're looking for crunchy. But like I said earlier, you'll bake it and it still won't be completely crunchy. But you could just put it in the oven and let it sit and dry out in there. And the oven's turned off. All right. So and you want to let the oven cool a little bit first. Because again, you don't want burning. So this is the one. So now also my bottom rack is a little. Oh, you can see the difference. The bottom rack is a little hotter on the bottom, so it kind of got darker. So I'll trade those. I'll put this one on the top. Or actually, I might leave this one out now and just put the other one in for about 10 minutes. Because this looks like it's done. It just needs to dry out. Yeah, I'll leave this one. So this one will go back in here for about 10 more minutes. Definitely use your timer, okay? Because you do not want burnt granola. All right. Okay, so now we'll just finish these guys off with a few more banana slices.
Lisa commented that she, like we do, uses the yogurt with the seal-cut oats for breakfast.
Yeah. Yep. So good. It's just a really nice treat. Yeah, and Lisa, you got credit too for helping me in my yogurt journey. Definitely recommended the Instant Pot, and I loved her recipe too. I love her recipe, but yeah, and also another thing you can do is, you probably do this, Lisa, is reuse some of your yogurt that you've previously used and made. So you can just take some of that and use that as a starter. So actually there's 4 different things you can do, or 5. I mean, there's probably a lot more. All right, so some more blueberries on top. And then you can just top it with some of your crunchy granola. And just make it nice. And so yes, so I'll credit Julie Marie Christensen and Lisa Carlin for my granola adventures. I'm sure other people too. I mean, for my yogurt adventures. And for my granola and yogurt adventures, Plant Pure Chef of Plant Pure Nation, Kim Campbell, thank you. She led me to the using of the coffee filter to make more of a Greek thick yogurt, and then for the granola, Plant Pure Chef, and Minimalist Baker. Minimalist Baker has a good kasha recipe for granola. So, all right, so, oh, for storing your granola, I wanna let you know what I recommend is using these mason jars. These are awesome, but at first it's kind of hard to get them into the mason jars from the sheets, so I'll use something like this. I love to keep these on hand. I keep my oats in here, any kind of things I buy in bulk. Great to have these containers. Make sure you seal them though really well. So you want to keep it sealed. You don't want your granola to get uncrunchy or stale. So again, if you wanted to make it sweeter, you could do a drizzle of the syrup on here. You could thin this out too, make it more of a syrup. I've seen people cook this, the date paste, and you can make it more of a syrup if you want. So let me go ahead and show you stirring in the dried fruit, and then we'll be done. So let's get all this stuff out of the way. So you can see we've almost reached this here. And it's really gotten pretty crunchy. What I'm going to do, like I said, is when the other one's done, I'm going to put them both back in the oven and let them dry out. So you can add you don't want the oven to be super hot with this dried fruit in it because it's going to get dried out and rocky. But just add some of your cherries and some of your raisins and just stir that up. Well, thank you everybody for joining me. I just want to say I love this vegan world that we live in, and all of our people that inspire us, and it's really fun to just get in the kitchen and try things, and also just watch lots of videos and follow everyone, and you get great ideas. So hopefully I've given you some good ideas and a great way to start making your own yogurt and your own granola. Or if you choose to buy it, just make sure it's vegan. All right, everybody. Thanks.